If you're at all compelled about the longevity and expansion of the Mizzah Tee Show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Links below.
It's tea time, fools.
Hey there, fools. Big T here, and I'm back with another video. And this video will be me talking about basically what I feel like are kind of bad practices that are continuing to happen with the Switch. As you guys know, I've taken Nintendo to task on what I felt were bad practices, and that's not going to change, especially for third-party companies. I talked about Nintendo Online. I didn't like that. I didn't like some of the Wii U port situations, the costs and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about continuing things that I feel like are continuing bad practices on the Switch that are still going on. So I pretty much at this point have given up on talking about Capcom. You guys know I've got plenty of videos talking about how I felt or how I feel that Capcom is just not doing Nintendo fans right on the Switch, and where some other companies may have some gripes, some situations where they can, they feel like they can do these things or whatever. Capcom has been doing these things with games that, basically I'm talking about the size of their games that they've been putting out, a lot of them on Switch. They had no real reasons to not put full games on the cart. We're talking about, games from, yesteryear, that should easily fit on a cart that costs, that's cost effective to them. We've been told in the past that 8 GB carts are pretty much comparable with the Blu-ray disc as far as the cost goes. So there's no reason for old Mega Man games, stuff like that, to not appear on carts. So at this point, I've pretty much given up on just getting upset about Capcom. Moved on. They're not going to, seems like they're not going to change. So there's that. So let's move on to something a little bit more egregious, as far as what I care about. And but I really don't. It's the cost or the prices of these ports from Square with these Final Fantasy games. $50 for up-res PS2 games. That's insanity. And I mean, I don't know what they're charging on the other systems, but so maybe it's not just a Nintendo thing. I don't know what they charge day one on the other systems, but that's price gouging. We're not here to pay for your overly long, inflated development cycle of Final Fantasy 15. I feel like that's what we're doing. We're all suffering because Final Fantasy 15 cost them a lot of money, a lot of time in development to make, and I feel like we're getting the brunt of that with the cost of these old Final Fantasy ports. So not happy about that. Won't be supporting that. I have all these games pretty much anyway on my PS3, so I have no desire to buy them again. There's a lot of people talking about April being a great month, one of the greatest months in the history of Nintendo as far as third parties go, and I'm like, what are you talking about? These are all old games. There's nothing special about that. That doesn't make these games bad, but it's nothing special about the month of April as far as Switch goes. We're getting a bunch of old third-party ports. I'm happy to have third-party support, but again, it's not like these are new games or anything like that. So I'm not going to harp on that too much. Just going to move on from that too, because people are saying really silly things. They're very sensitive about this subject too. So there's been an issue with Mortal Kombat 11 from day one on Switch because we've gotten no information. We haven't seen any we haven't really seen any off screen. We got finally that in a commercial that Nintendo put out today. Depends on when you see this video or when I upload it, but within the day. So they have that off screen, like maybe 4 seconds of footage in the video, and it's off screen, and it's probably been tweaked and digitized. It's an editing thing. They superimpose that video onto the Switch screen. It's not something that's actually directly taken off, because you want it to be bright and you want all that stuff, so they superimpose that image. And the game's coming out in what, 2 weeks, and we still haven't had any direct feed footage or anything like that from the game on the Switch version anyway. And they want my $60, and they're not showing me anything as far as that goes. So it was almost okay as far as the quote unquote Switch tax goes, because they're not charging more for this game on a cart. But there is a catch. It seems like I'm not sure. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but it seems like there's a catch that 6 gigabytes or so of the game are actually on the cart, and you have a day one patch of 15 gigabytes. 15 gigabytes. What kind of bullshit is that? I mean, that's just insane. So at this point, it doesn't matter. If that's true, it doesn't matter what the game looks like, what it runs like on Switch. I will not partake. That's insanity to me. So basically the game would be, I guess, 22 gigabytes in total, somewhere around there. And instead of caring about my SD card space, they're like, well, we can't get the whole game on the cart that we want to save money. So we'll just put a tiny piece of the game on the cart, save more money, and the hell with your SD card space. Instead of getting us the biggest card that they can that won't hurt them, they decide to go with the lowest card, basically. It's insane, man. It's insane. So the final product up for bidding is Wolfenstein Youngblood. But before we get into that, I want you guys, a lot of you obviously know I've done a video before, maybe a year ago or so, talking about the Switch tax. I think it was like a 22-minute video, something in there, and I really dove into Switch tax. Now, I personally don't have a problem paying more for a Switch version. I said that then, and I'll say that today. I would rather pay an extra $10 for the Switch version on a cart than to have to download something or download anything. And I wish they would do some kind of survey or study to see what people are on that, because I feel like a lot of people would probably do that, more than you would realize. Because we understand, we're human beings. We understand that the Switch, obviously, because of its storage media, cannot hold these games on the baseline carts or whatever. We understand that as consumers, and I think we'd be willing to pay more. We've done that before. One of the instances I brought up in that video was the N64. I paid more for N64 games because of the benefits that I felt were benefits, like loading times and better visuals and stuff like that. So where there's not better visuals on the Switch, the benefits are obviously play anywhere you want. It's just the convenience of having that game on a cartridge. You're not downloading anything. That's one of the biggest things I was happy about when it came to the Switch, is that it was going to be in a cart. You weren't have to, first download the game basically to your hard drive, even though you have a disc like they do on the other consoles. You can actually play it from the medium. And when we have these situations where you put in partial games and whatnot, all that convenience is gone. So what am I paying for? I'm paying for a lesser version that's still going to cost me hard drive space. For what? It's and there's no safety involved, because I'm only getting part of the game. So when those servers are gone, that purchase I made on a cartridge, of all things, is also gone. So I can't partake in that. And so now we have Wolfenstein Youngblood. Apparently they're selling in retail an empty box with the game code to download in it. And why? I mean, I understand, because other companies have done that. This is nothing new. Some companies will sell you a special edition of a game and the game won't be in it. So that's crazy. I would never mess with that. But I understand companies wanting to have that retail space, because that gets your game in front of more eyes than it would just being a digital download. Your game can get lost in the shuffle on the eShop, and so I understand that. So I'm not mad that it's they're selling it that way. I'm just mad at the fact that there's no option for me to buy this game on Switch, Wolfenstein Youngblood, because I'm one of the people who, a year and a half later, after the game came out on the consoles and was probably $30, maybe even less in some instances, Wolfenstein 2 I'm talking about, I was still a person that wanted to support the efforts that Panic Button put in, and I just thought it would be cool to have a game like that on a handheld, as well as, you know, being on the hybrid nature of the Switch, being on the home console as well, played on my TV, but being able to have that game on the go too was just appealing to me. So I paid $60 for the game, and it's a situation where it's a partial download. I was not happy about that, but I bit the bullet because I was like, well, these guys are putting in effort to put a current gen game on the Switch, which wasn't an easy thing to do. You don't just press a port button to put that game on the Switch. They had to do some work, some compression work. They had to do some optimization and whatnot to get the game to run well. So, and it does run well. It looks, you know, pretty good, obviously, for the Switch, and it runs well. And so this is supposed to be, Youngblood is supposed to be like a side story, kind of like that Uncharted game that came out. I can't think of the name of it. I haven't played it yet. I bought it, where it's like with the female heroines, or the anti-heroes from the game, Chloe and I can't remember the black girl's name, but so it's supposed to be like a side thing, and the game is priced at $30. It's closer to like a Torna situation where it's not a full game, but it is a full game, and it's coming out for $30 for everything and the Switch, but it's only digital download on the Switch. And I'm like, you just killed your sale. Like, who would buy the Switch version over, if you just care about playing that game, you just like the game, why would you buy the Switch version if you have other options? When you can have the actual game on a disc. A lot of gamers still care about that. Yeah, you'll get some peel off, but are you really going to get better sales of this game than you got from Wolfenstein 2 on the Switch? I think Wolfenstein 2 sold about 100,000 copies. You're definitely not going to do that well, I don't think, with Youngblood only being eShop. I would happily pay another $10 for that game to be on cart, and that should be enough to cover the cost of whatever the cart would be. And I was expecting this game to be smaller and maybe actually fit on a 16 gig cart. It should definitely fit. I think it should definitely fit on a 16 gig cart, but they don't want to put in, you know, the resources to do that, and that's worrisome and bothersome to me. And I don't understand this trend. I thought 2 years in, this problem would be getting less and less, and it seems like lately it's becoming more and more of an issue, and it's worrisome, man. I don't like it. It's a bad look. I just don't get it. When you have games the size of Breath of the Wild, you know, obviously that is a Nintendo game. They eat that cost themselves. I don't know if Nintendo should step in and be like, we want these games, so we're going to eat the cost of a cartridge, or we'll cut you guys some slack on the cartridge costs. Something needs to happen, because this to me is not helping third party. It's hurting it, because they're going to look at the numbers of these game sales and be like, you know, that was fun, but why even put the effort in at this point? So, yeah, I don't know what to say. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this situation. It bothers me. I was looking forward to Wolfenstein Youngblood on my Switch. I'm definitely not getting it on the Switch at this point. Maybe I'll wait and see if they decide to put it on a cart later. I will give it that, but it probably won't happen. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you fools next time. Peace out.